السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة المتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. So we're in chapter number 7 now, and Imam Haddad is going to be speaking about in regards to acquiring knowledge. Knowledge is something that we all need and many of us seek. But the question is, what kind of knowledge should we be seeking? And where do we start from? So he says, you should have a wird of reading useful knowledge, meaning that have a daily target of reading some useful knowledge. This is really important because he doesn't say any kind of knowledge, but useful knowledge. The Prophet ﷺ never used to ask Allah for knowledge. He used to say, oh Allah, give me beneficial knowledge, something which is useful. So what is useful knowledge? He says, which is that which increases your knowledge of the essence of God, His attributes, acts and favors, makes you aware of His commands and prohibitions, leads you to renounce the things of this world and wish only for the hereafter, and brings your faults, the defects in your acts and the plots of your enemy to your notice, your enemy in reference to shaitan. This knowledge is present in the book, in the Quran, the Sunnah and the writings of the leaders, Imams. Pausing here for a moment. So he talks about beneficial knowledge, and that's exactly what we want. But what tends to happen is that many people, they do seek knowledge, they do go out to learn, but they end up focusing on matters where there are maybe deep theological matters or polemical issues and things that aren't as beneficial. Yes, everyone should be learning, and there is a time and place to study these things, but start with the basics first. The basics are the most important as to who is Allah, who is your Lord, what is His commands, what is His prohibitions. If a person is studying all these deep matters and obscure forms of knowledge, but has no connection to what are the commands and prohibitions, then a person will be answerable on the Day of Judgment. That, look, I've commanded you to do certain things, but you did not uphold those commands. I've commanded you to stay away from certain things, but you had no knowledge of them. Then what good and what use was the knowledge that you've sought? So we need to make sure that our knowledge, the knowledge that we are in connection with, is one beneficial, and it is going to benefit us. Okay, it's something which is important. Yes, after studying and learning the basics and knowing Allah and the commands and prohibitions and other things which are useful, then yeah, going into deeper studies, perfectly fine. Bismillah. So he says that there are certain books. Look, he says here that this knowledge that we're looking for, useful knowledge, it's inside the Quran and the Sunnah. Okay, but make your Quran and the Sunnah your first places of study. Okay, and he says that yes, it's also in the writings of certain Imams. He says here, it was collected by the Imam Ghazali in his highly valuable books. Those who have religious understanding are well steeped in knowledge and have complete certitude, have great esteem for his books. If you wish to travel the path and arrive at the levels of realization, you must make it a habit to read them. The Ghazali books are unique among the writings of correct Sufis in that they are comprehensive, explicit and greatly effective within a short time. So there are many scholars, not just Imam Ghazali, there are many others who have written amazing books, and a person should read them. Ideally, if you can join a class. What would be easier is probably joining a class with your local Imam. There are courses online and going through studies with them, just because at least then it's guided. You can ask questions. There's someone to have a connection to in terms of any issues or any clarity that a person may need. So he says that you must read extensively in the books of hadith and tafsir, which is Quranic commentary, and those of the people in general, for this is where a comprehensive opening and perfect travelling are to be found. As a Gnostic once said, however, you must be wary of whatever their treatises include by way of obscure matters and bare realities. So basically what he's saying, he's going to comment this a bit more further and talk upon it with a bit more elaboration. Basically, when it comes to reading books of people, sometimes there are books which are extremely beneficial, but then sometimes there are books which, whilst they may be somewhat beneficial, they may have things which are not correct or not very beneficial, or things which may lead to a misunderstanding. That's probably the better thing. They may lead to a misunderstanding of religion or a different view which isn't correct. So he says that these are present in most of the writings of the Shaykh Ibn Arabi and a few of the works of Imam Ghazali's treatises such as Al-Mi'raj and Madnun Bihi. Shaykh Zarruq gave in his Ta'sis al-Qawaid, which is another work of his, a warning about such books that read if you wish, but did not mention the writings of Shaykh Abdul Karim al-Jilli, who was a latecomer. However, all of his writings should, for the sake of safety, be avoided. So basically he's saying that, look, there are certain people who is better to avoid their works. Okay, there are many renowned scholars, you can read their works, they're widely available, and that's why I say it's always best to read with someone who's a qualified scholar, an imam, a sheikh, study under them, someone who has a legitimate understanding of the religion. It's better to have someone explaining it to you or reading with them. Should it be said, there is no harm in reading such books, for I take that which I understand and leave alone that which I do not, I would say, you speak fairly. However, what we fear for you is that which you think you understand incorrectly, and thereby diverge from the straight path, as has happened to some who were assiduous readers of these books and ended up in heresy and unbelief, and talked about incarnation and union, hulul and ittihad. There is neither ability nor power save by God, the High, the Formidable. So the last part is quite important. Sometimes people say that, you know what, go to anyone, take the good and leave the bad. Well, the truth is sometimes the person is not in a position to differentiate what is good knowledge and what is bad and what is incorrect. Maybe someone hears something from someone and maybe that is incorrect, but to the person it seems completely fine, it's palatable, and it seems perfectly legitimate. Well, so not everybody is in a position to differentiate between that which is correct and incorrect. And that's why it's better to go straight to those scholars who have an authentic understanding. Just go to your local imam. Maybe if you want to study under a few, you over time understand the differences, and inshallah continuously make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance, for beneficial knowledge, and to be kept on the straight path. Hence why the dua in Surah Fatiha of Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim is so vital, that Allah shows the straight path and keep us on the straight path. Okay, at any point a person can become misguided, so making dua to be on the straight path is extremely vital. But the summary of this chapter is acquiring knowledge. So what you want to be doing is, yes, at the moment, at the current situation, whilst we're doing holding these classes due to COVID-19, many masajid are closed as per government guidelines. But once this situation finishes, go to your local masjid and join one of the classes. You and your family, don't just do it yourself, you and your family join a class. If you can't go to the masjid, maybe because it's far or something, then or there's no masjid in your local area, or there's no classes running, without quite a few courses online, join a course online so that you and your family can partake in some kind of education and learning. You don't need to do anything which is in depth. Start from the basics and work your way upwards, inshallah. So that's the action plan essentially. So it is structured, is guided by a scholar of Islam, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. And then from there you'll know how to sort of navigate your own path later on, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.